Deployment of funds in the biotech sector has paid off handsomely in the last year or so. And of course, it would have had to have done so in order to overcome the downside that we saw a couple of years ago when we saw the collapse of the Woodford Fund. One such company that's deployed capital is the RTW Venture Fund. It's recently reported its half-year results. Stephanie Sirota joins us now with some more from New York. And Stephanie has just bought close on $500,000 worth of stock in the RTW Venture Fund. Stephanie, I want to start off, if I can, with the question about those first half results. What's been driving the numbers?
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks a lot for having me today. Yeah, we've had a very busy first half of the year. We made 13 new investments in the first half of the year. We actually completed several deals since that between July and September. About a third of the deals we've done have been in oncology. We did a very exciting gene therapy investment in a company called Alcyon, where we were the sole investor. We've done we've made an investment in a company called Indices, which is targeting presbyopia, which is helping the need to reduce or delay the need for reading glasses. So it's a huge commercial opportunity. There's just a lot of very exciting things. We made our first orthodontic investment in a disruptive technology that's dealing with truly invisible behind the teeth straightening approach. So there's a lot happening, and we couldn't be busier.
As I said, over the last year, things have improved a lot. To what degree has COVID played into RTW's hands in terms of raising the profile of these sorts of investments? I'm talking about some of these small cap companies. As I said, a couple of years ago, there was this negative news that came through with the collapse of the Woodford Fund. I know took the floor from under a lot of these businesses. But how has the raising of the profile from COVID helped you, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. And that was a really tough period because I think a lot of people that had investments in Woodford really lost faith in, the innovative biotech and life sciences space. So we saw capital flowing out of the space. The one silver lining of COVID was that it brought capital back into the space. So 2020 was actually a very positive year for a lot of the small and mid-cap companies, and we also saw a lot of interest in private companies. What's happened in 2021 is a different story. So we've seen most of the money flow into large cap names. So large cap biopharma has done really well. It's up 10, 11% on the year. Broader equities are also up, but the small and mid-cap space has actually suffered the fourth largest drawdown in the last 20 years. And no one has really picked up on that. So I think, one of the benefits of our strategy, which is really full life cycle, we can deploy capital across any part of the life cycle of a company, whether they're just being incubated or if it's a mid-stage venture or even public, that's benefited us because we can really capture some of the interesting, distressed valuations out there.
So how is RTW now spread across the preclinical right the way through to the commercial stage? What is the spread of investments that you now have?
Yeah, so about a third of our portfolio is actually in private companies today. We had 13 of our privates IPO so far since inception. 7 of those IPOs happened this year, and the average IPO step up since first investment is 2 times. The late stage venture continues to be the majority of the new deals that we're doing. And then we have 2 new company creations that we've deployed. Now, in terms of where the assets in the pipelines of those companies are, it's pretty diverse. The majority of our companies are still pre-commercial in terms of their pipeline assets. So we're looking at a long runway.
What about payback for investors? How's the pipeline in terms of IPOs? Of course, this is one of the ways in which RTW Funds pays back to investors. It's actually floating some of these businesses, and you've got a pretty good track record of this. What's the pipeline of IPOs looking like, and is that going to be the main source of income?
It is. It's looking attractive. There are 2 ways in which companies can can seek to monetize what they're building. And one is through the IPO path, and the other is, or some version of going public, and the other is through M&A. And M&A, at least in the States, probably contributes about $50 billion of liquidity. The reality is we had one takeout of one of our private companies, but the majority of our names tend to go public. So, we have a lot of faith in those companies to seek tapping into the public capital markets.
I'm interested as well to find a little bit more about the perceptions. I mean, you're talking there about the undervaluation of the small cap companies compared to the large caps. I mean, that's a measurable thing. What about perception amongst investors at the moment? You're New York based. RTW Venture Fund is listed in London. There's got to be a reason for that, obviously. My experience is, I think we've spoken about this before, is the fact that in the UK, I don't get the same sort of feedback from talking to investors about the biotech sector that I get in places like Boston, where there's an appetite that far outweighs anything we're getting here in the UK, and that remains the case.
That remains the case, and I'll tell you that we are. First of all, we're looking to open up an office in London. We see the opportunity as global, absolutely. There's a tremendous amount of incredible science that's coming out of UK academic institutions, and we really want to find a way to become closer to those scientists and those entrepreneurs. And we'd like to, I think the biggest thing that we think is missing from that ecosystem is the capital that can advance some of those programs from academia all the way to kind of, public ready commercialization stage companies. So it's really about kind of the venture and hedge fund ecosystem. But we've been, trying to build a rapport with some of the UK based investors. And I think that there's a growing consensus that we're going to come together and, try to build like a robust investment framework. So the UK and the British assets can actually find the capital they need.
Just quickly going back to the first question, which was about your first half results, just wanted you to update people on how the second half has started and where you see the venture fund at the end of the fiscal year.
So our share price has returned 97% since inception, which is just shy of 2 years now. We've had 9% share price growth during the reporting period of the first half of this year. We've had a 2% decline since June 30th. But we have some potentially exciting things on the horizon, and hopefully that will catalyze some positive movements between now and year end.
Okay, well, we look forward to catching up with you again when we get to the year-end position. But in the meantime, Stephanie, thanks indeed for joining us. Stephanie Sirota is the director of RTW Venture Fund. For more videos from us here at IGTV, join us on Twitter at IGCom, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.